outlet for outdoors and Western lifestyle news, The Ben Show. I am your host, Rebecca Wanner, a.k.a. Beck. And as we say this each and every week, we love hearing from everyone. Comments, stories, ideas. Get a hold of us anytime. Call or text 305-900-2363. Again, that's 305-900-2363. Or you can always email benradioshow@gmail.com. And join along as always is my producer, sound engineer, and co-host, Jeff Tigger Erhardt. Now, what's going on in our household? We are getting excited because some people count down to Christmas. We count down to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo.
NFR, baby.
The Super Bowl of Rodeo. And we're getting excited because
it's like 90-some days away.
Exactly.
Something like that.
And their official season, in order to qualify for the WNFR, is coming up. I think September 30th is the end.
Correct. That is the cutoff for any of the contestants in the PRCA to make the top 15 to go to Vegas for the finals. And it is a very, very, very tight race of who's going to go.
Absolutely.
I'm assuming you're going to go through some of the events?
Can I give it a try? Can I give it? By the way, just a little heads up for those of you
in your rodeo announcer voice
that don't know, Tigger is a PRCA Pro Rodeo Cowboy Association announcer.
And those of you that don't know, Beck is a PRCA music director.
I am.
And you are one of the only, there's only a handful of you lady PRCA music directors out there.
That's true.
And use one of them.
I was surprised when I did obtain my card, and it's not easy, neither for Tigger, for us to get these cards. Just not anybody can be part of the PRCA. But anyway, I was surprised when I found out I was the first and only woman in our state to have that card.
Well deserved.
Thank you, honey.
You do a nice job. Okay, we're going rodeo stuff now.
We're going rodeo.
Right on.
I am not a rodeo announcer, however, but I'm going to do my best with the current PRCA standings. First one, I think that everyone knows this gentleman's name, Stetson Wright from Beaver, Utah. He's all around earnings right now. Let me tell you, folks, listen to this. He has made well over $391,000 after the 8-time world champion sustained injuries at the 2023 NFR. Sidelined during the 2024 rodeo season, he has made a runaway comeback for the coveted 2025 Wrangler NFR all-around champion. Listen to this. He's number 1 in bull riding and number 9 in saddle bronc.
So when it comes to the bull riding, I mean, Stetson is an amazing bull rider, but I want to brag on J.R. Stratford for a little bit because he's our buddy Steve's son, and he had a run here a few years ago. This summer has been amazing for him. He is, as of right now, I know there's rodeos going on, but he's number 7 in the standings. He's from Briars, Kansas. So buddies root for buddies in the rodeo business. I'd like to see J.R. go to the finals and just blow it out of the water and make a ton of money.
Here's another household name I think a few of us have heard of before, Rocker Steiner. Yes, coming from Weatherford, Texas. This bareback rider is leading the world with making over $243,000, with the closest contender being Bradley Miller of Huntsville, Texas, and Jess Pope of Waverly, Kansas, riding neck and neck with just $1,000 in year earnings in difference, fighting for that second place title.
And it's the bareback riding that's really tight. I mean, when you go down and you look like, 10th, and then you go down to 12th and 14th and 19th and on into 20th. And as you said, there's still a month of rodeos yet. So that whole top 15 could kind of get jockeyed around. But Rocker Steiner, the best way to describe him is electric. I mean, the kid is absolutely amazing. This young man has got talent.
I've got to give kudos to him, too, because recently he visited one of our local rodeos, and my nephew had a chance to go behind the chutes and visit with him, and he was ear to ear because he's also a rider, and he said that Rocker was so kind.
Gave him the time of day.
Yes.
I love that. Just sat and visited with him. That's really important for young athletes, male and female, that your mentors, that they take time to visit with the next generation because you're getting looked up to, right?
Saddle bronc. Now, this is an event that is one of my favorite. Another individual you've probably heard of, Ryder Wright of Beaver, Utah. His earnings at this point well over $273,000. Saddle Bronc this year is even a tighter event than ever. The top 12 in the world fighting for their seat in the winner's circle have all earned well over $150,000. This includes well-known names such as Damian Brennan in second, with Dawson Hay right behind, Brody Wells and Zeke Thurston all over $200,000 in 2025 earnings. Following not far behind are Ryder Wright's brothers, Statler Wright sitting in sixth and Stetson Wright in ninth. And we got to give a shout out to a friend of the show, Montana Cowboy Sage Newman. He is right up there too, sitting in sixth place. Then we head to steer wrestling, where the leader is Will Loomis. He is with over $161,000 in earnings.
You know, I am going to root for JD Struxness. I think he's like fourth right now in the PRCA. And here's the reason is I did one of his first interviews ever when he was in college. He wasn't even 21 years old yet. And he made it to his first Wrangler National Finals rodeo. And I did one of the first interviews that he ever did in his life. So I'm kind of rooting for JD Struxness to get in there and just make a pile of money. That's just me.
Team roping. Let's first look at the headers. Tanner Tomlinson of Mineral Wells, Texas, is the current world leader. He's won over $153,000. However, it's a tight race. As a household favorite here, Derek Begay.
Of course.
I love Derek Begay. If you don't know who he is, he's from Arizona. He is just $3,000 behind in the earnings. And I got to throw a flashback to y'all, okay? Do you remember last year during the 2024 Wrangler NFR when Derek Begay borrowed his well-known mule, John Henry, to Saddle Bronc favorite Zeke Thurston, and Zeke rode that mule in the first two grand entry parades.
That was awesome. That was awesome. I love Derek Begay.
Now let's look at the team roping healers. Levi Lord of Sturgis, South Dakota. He's brought in over $155,000. This four-time NFR qualifier is making sure the world knows there's more to Sturgis, South Dakota than just a huge motorcycle rally. Next, tie-down roping. Riley Webb of Denton, Texas is a current world leader. He's brought home over $264,000. Not a bad place to be after 2024 being his first WNFR. Chasing him is six-time qualifier Shad Mayfield, sitting with over $237,000. Then we go to Oklahoma. Why? Because in the steer roping, Cole Patterson from Pawnee, Oklahoma, is currently leading world standings with over $92,000. Now here's a favorite. Barrel racing. Cassie Mowry of Dublin, Texas is the world barrel racing leader at over $202,000 in earnings. The top three looking to make this a race to watch, just like in 2024. Also includes Texas stars Brittany Pazzi-Tanazi and Haley Kinzel. But don't leave out the legend Lisa Lockhart, as she's sitting 10th, and this cowgirl knows the grind and how to move mountains. That's just a quick snapshot of where we stand looking towards the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo this December. By the way, it kicks off in Las Vegas December 4th, runs through Saturday, December 13th, and will be held at the Thomas & Mack Center in Las Vegas. Coming up next, we answer your questions. Can crops alter the weather? We have a house divided on this one. The Bend will be back right after this.
Is there that particular pair of boots or that shirt or pair of jeans that you just can't find anywhere else? Check out Medora Boot and Western Wear. Medora Boot and Western Wear is the go-to for boots, jeans, especially jackets, and even those hard-to-find accessories that make perfect gifts. Check out MedoraBoot.com, or better yet, give Kim a call at 701-623-1005 and tell Kim that Tigger and Beck sent you. For the latest in Western and outdoor practical and fashionable wear, there is only one, Medora Boot and Western Wear.
The 2025 Devil's Lake Shootout Rodeo going down in history as the first rodeo ever at the all-new Western State Bank Arena. September 5th, 6th, and 7th, with over 400 contestants competing for over $34,000 in added prize money. Performances Friday and Saturday at 6:30, slack at 9:30 a.m. both days. Sunday's shootout round begins at 2:30. Watch the Devil's Lake Rodeo Club Facebook page for real-time info. The 2025 Devil's Lake Shootout Rodeo is September 5th, 6th, and 7th at the all-new Western State Bank Arena.
Hey guys and gals, this is John Arman with Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV travels the back roads to the backwaters in pursuit of the ultimate adventure in hunting and fishing. Join Team UOA every week for exciting action in the crosshairs of the outdoors. Catch Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV on YouTube, Amazon Prime, and make sure to follow Team UOA on Facebook and Instagram to share in the ultimate outdoor adventure.
Welcome back to The Bend. We head to the phone lines, or I should say the email this time, because I did get some more listener questions. The one that popped out to me was from Nate. He comes from a state that doesn't have a whole lot of corn in the past, but does now. And he's wondering, can crops alter the weather?
We're kind of a household divided on this.
We are, because throughout my travels, I've had this conversation with states that are known to be in the Corn Belt, and I've had people mention to me that, oh, it's humid here, or they feel it is because of all the corn that's growing, which had me thinking the same thing. I'm kind of feeling like maybe these crops do affect our humidity.
Well, this is a really good question. Yes, we are a house divided, but let me just say this. Where we live, for the most part, it's a 3-crop rotation. It's corn, wheat, beans, corn, wheat, beans, corn, wheat, beans. That's kind of the mainstay. But the question is, can increasing the amount of corn acres, for example, actually change and alter a weather pattern? So here's what I did. I went to KX News Chief Meteorologist Kenny Miller. He's kind of our go-to weather guy. And he did a lot of forecasting for agriculture commodity traders, now the chief meteorologist at KX News. So, Kenny, thanks for standing by and hanging on the telly with us. Good to have you back. You heard the question. So individuals were wondering that with planting that much corn, can that actually change the type of climate that a person has? Can it increase the dew points? Can it increase humidity? Can it actually alter your climate that maybe you were used to at a certain time? And I'm going to preface this by saying, when I lived in Oklahoma and I lived right in a winter wheat country, you could actually see right before harvest, you could see the heat waves on the wheat. It was kind of a fascinating phenomenon. But I thought, all right, I'm going to reach out to Big K and see if this is actually possible based on the crops that a person has, if you can actually kind of modify the climate a little bit.
So it's a fascinating question. This process is called corn sweat, or the technical term is evapotranspiration. It's like a 9-syllable word that means nothing to the average person, but it's called corn sweat. So the long and the short of it is, no, it cannot change the climate, but yes, it can impact to an extent the localized short-term weather. And by short-term, I mean for a month or so. And here's what I mean by that. So basically, it's the corn releasing water vapor back into the atmosphere off of its leaves to help cool itself down during the peak summer months. And this can lead to an increase in localized humidity. And by localized, I mean like the general area where the cornfields are. So if you're in, Iowa or Nebraska or those states that have just corn 80% of the acreage across the entire state, it can make it feel like an oven, in the dog days of late July and August when the corn's looking pretty tall, it's got its maturity going on and all that kind of stuff. It can knock up the humidity value or the dew points by a few degrees. Like, that is absolutely true. So it can make it feel more humid or oppressive than it normally would if there was no corn there. The long-term or the wide-scale impacts of that are near negligible, however. In order to impact a long-term pattern for a season or whatever, you're going to need kind of like we had this year with, hey, it's just the way the pattern is. We were as active as we were this year because there was a big old area of high pressure that just parked itself over the southeast U.S., forced all the systems that came in off the Rockies or the Pacific that would normally impact the Midwest to basically ride that high and shoot right through the northern plains, which is why it was so active. So I think the extent of the impact of corn sweat is it just makes it feel more humid. And, sure, it adds more water vapor to the atmosphere, which, you might be able to squeeze 9 more raindrops out of a cloud because it's more humid. Like it's not really an impact in terms of changing storm systems or, every single summer we're going to get more storms because we have more corn. It's just going to make it feel humid for about a month or so.
So I'm assuming that same question could be geared towards if people are planting, a large amount of trees, that it would take a massive amount of trees that would be established for literally 100+ years for it to ever actually make a significant amount of weather change in a particular area that you can actually quantify it statistically. Look at me. I sound like a meteorologist there, Big K.
You got it. You just come on in and we'll give you the ropes and you can have half. No, it's a drop in the bucket. I did some research in preparation for you calling, and, per acre of corn. So if you have an acre of corn, that can release between, the numbers are 3,500 to 5,000 gallons of water vapor over the course of 1 to 2 days. And that sounds pretty impressive. 5,000 gallons of water vapor every 2 days for a month. That's going to seem like, oh my gosh, that's going to drive everything. But the amount of water vapor that we get when our winds are out of the southeast, off of the Gulf of whatever you want to call it, it's like 1 billion times that. So the effect of corn sweat versus, our winds are off of the Gulf today, it's not even in the same stratosphere in terms of impact. So you couldn't cover North Dakota in complete corn, 100% acreage, and have that be a driving force. It matters in the sense of, your heat index, if you stand in a cornfield, might be 3 or 5 degrees warmer than the heat index in the middle of, just prairie grass or whatever, but it's not really impacting the weather. It's just making it feel more humid in that generalized location.
And that was going to be my question, is maybe when you're actually working in that area, that you're in that field, or maybe you've got several fields close to each other where just because of the rotation, your corn is in your rotation this year, and it feels, and it could be the neighbors. And that's maybe kind of how it is by our place. It seems like everybody's kind of in that similar rotation where when everybody plants corn, everybody's planting corn that year, every third year. Yeah. So it's more, it feels like it at that time because we're just kind of smack dab in the middle of the actual field or that particular area or that range.
Yeah. And, it's one of those things where, let's just say if you were, 30 miles into the area east of the highway where there was no corn, you still might feel the effects of the corn sweat. But if you were 200 miles, you probably wouldn't. So it's there's again, a very generalized, localized impact of, if you've got fields all around you and 90% of it is corn, it's probably going to feel a little more humid, even if you have no corn in your backyard or anywhere around you within a mile or two. But if it's in your general area, you're probably going to feel, again, some microscopic or minuscule effects of, it's going to bump up my heat index by a couple of degrees.
So there's your answer. We're both kind of right.
Well,
even though we were house divided on this one.
All I'm going to say is, regardless, house divided or not, big thanks again to you, KX News Chief Meteorologist Kenny Miller. We sure appreciate you jumping on this show.
I call him Big K from now on. He is Big K, and we are going to have him bust some more myths, but we need your help on this. What are some of those weather myths out there, like it rains 90 days after a fog, or one is 6 weeks after you hear the cicadas, you're going to have your first freeze. So if there are some of those out there that you want Big K to debug or agree with scientifically, reach out to us.
That's right. Give us a call, or you can text anytime, 305-900-2363. Again, that's 305-900-2363. Or always you can email benradioshow@gmail.com. All right, we're going to take a short break, crew. There's more of the Ben Show coming up right after this.
You asked for it, you got it. Watch the Cowboy Channel anytime. anywhere with the Cowboy Channel Plus. Live stream the Cowboy Channel or watch your favorite PRCA rodeos on demand. Classic PRCA rodeos added weekly. Get the Cowboy Channel Plus for only $9.99 a month or save 25% by signing up for a full year. Visit cowboychannelplus.com to sign up and start streaming today.
The hunt, the stories, the memories. This is Jake Fenrick with JB's Wildlife Designs. Let me capture and preserve that hunt, that story, that memory with a trophy mount to last you a lifetime. Look us up on Facebook at JB's Wildlife Designs to see samples of our taxidermy, and reach out at any time with any and all questions you may have. This is Jake Fenrick with JB's Wildlife Designs. Taxidermy is my passion. Let me preserve yours.
This is Beck. First, I appreciate all of you for listening and making The Bend part of your week. Many of you have asked, how do I catch past episodes? The answer is super easy. Head to thebendshow.com and click on the shows tab. There you can listen to every episode all the way back to episode 1. Podcasters, head to your favorite podcasting app and search The Bend. You'll find us. Be sure to follow and subscribe and never miss another episode again. Welcome back to The Bend Show. When a storm took down the ropes on a 130-foot flagpole in Star Valley, Wyoming, most folks would have called it a job for the young and fearless, but not Darcel Hulse. At 78 years old, the rancher grabbed his gear, called a crane, and went straight up to fix it himself. That's because flying the American flag isn't just tradition on his Salt River Ranch, it's a statement. Hulse proudly flies a 1,500 square foot flag. Did you hear that? 1,500 square foot flag from the highest point on his property. And when it needed replacing, he wasn't about to sit it out. Recently, in a Cowboy State Daily interview, Darcel Hulse joked, "I'm an old guy, but I'm not afraid of heights." And judging by the 1.4 million views on social media his daughter's video took of this flag raising, gotta put it this way, the country loves him for it. The massive flag, 50 by 30 feet, has become a beloved landmark in Star Valley, Wyoming. Locals call it our flag. And when it was temporarily down, the phones lit up. Everyone wanted to know when Old Glory would be back. For Hulse, raising that flag is about more than patriotism. It's about values, family, and returning to his Western roots. And while he hopes that the new rope holds strong for a while, you can bet that if it doesn't, he'll be right back up there making sure that Star-Spangled Banner keeps waving high. A major move for Alaska officials this last week. The state has officially banned two popular but destructive trees, the Mayday tree and the chokecherry. These fast-growing ornamentals were once a garden favorite, but they've turned into a serious threat to Alaska's natural landscape. The ban, now statewide, blocks the import, transport, or sale of these trees, which have overrun native birch and spruce forests, especially around Anchorage and Fairbanks. They may look pretty, but they're wreaking havoc under the surface. Their berries, toxic to moose. Their roots, so tough, new trees grow right out of the stumps. And now they're even spreading a nasty fungal disease known as black knot. Not exactly the kind of greenery you want in your backyard. The good news, officials are working hard to remove them and replace them with native trees. And this ban is a big step forward. So next time you're planting something new, remember, going native helps keep ecosystems wild, balanced, and beautiful. Check your state on plants that have landed on the noxious or invasive list by reaching out to your local extension agent. Records are made to be broken, right, crew? An Alabama fishing trip turned legendary when Robert Fritz and his crew caught a massive, listen to this, 550.3 pound swordfish. That's over 100 pounds heavier, by the way, than the current state record in Alabama. The catch happened in the early morning hours of August 15th after the crew set out from Orange Beach Marina aboard the Trade Desk boat. Originally aiming for marlin, the 6-man crew fished near deep water oil rigs, dropping a squid bait setup hundreds of feet down overnight. Around 4 a.m., Robert noticed the reel clicking and jumped into the fighting chair prepare for what became a 4.5-hour battle. The swordfish fought hard and deep before finally surfacing, stunning the crew with its dinosaur-like appearance. Once landed, the fish was so big it filled the entire deck, forcing the crew to end their trip early. The swordfish measured 150 inches long with a 62-inch girth and is expected to break Alabama's current record of 448 pounds pending official approval. Now, my question is, where does one find the wall space to hang a monster dinosaur-looking fish like this? And that's all for this week, folks. Thank you again for riding along with us. And remember to keep sending in any questions you might have, something spot-worthy, or even a recipe to test out. It is starting to get close to crockpot season, you know, as well as your area's field reports. If you have harvested the monster, we want to know about it. That number you can call or text anytime is 305-900-2363. Again, 305-900-2363, or you can always email benradioshow@gmail.com. And if you missed part of this show or want to hear past episodes, you can find them all on the website, thebendshow.com. And be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting app and to The Ben Show YouTube channel. Finally, a big thanks to all of you listeners out there that came along. Whether you're coming or going today, stay with us as we ranch it up. And remember to keep up with me back all week long by following The Ben on Facebook and on Instagram at The Ben Show. This is Rebecca Wanner. Catch back if you can next week on The Ben.